Ebusia, Medoba Daily Update. So, Ablekuma North, there is hope. There is hope for NDC or victory assured. NDC for a challenge High Court to prepare or to compel the Electoral Commission to call for rerun, because Ablekuma North, NDC has proposed to the High Court say they should compel. Yes, they should compel the Electoral Commission, because they believe say if they do rerun, a year it be bright. Ablekuma North, I didn't say be bright, no. Ablekuma North, a rubber will be, yes, good. Or bury any seat, no. It no the omoyen say High Court anything and compel a year Electoral Commission. You can say compel a one force no, yeah. La one force no, yeah, one force no. Na wanye den won tumi enye den emere rerano for Ablekuma North, because mo believe say a rabra oben, and according to the law CI and C1 CI no eka say return officer declare about a constituency level, no other official EC official can redeclare, because the core mandate the amount the return officer enti sa na si wa Ablekuma North or mo de collation or mo declare ma MPP candidate no the Electoral Commission and NDC for appealing to High Court say compelling force Mensa to go and do the rerun, because NDC for is proposing for rerun. Ebusua yenko tie Abra director of election ma NDC Evans Mako and the Dr. Rashid Tanko meeting for this discussion. Na yenti nsema omumienu afenu ndi tuja na Dr. Srem Sai lawyer Deputy Attorney General and someone also ekaye. God bless you.
That until they receive firm assurances from the Ghana police that they will provide adequate protection, just as the High Court had directed, they were not going to continue that process.
I mean, has this really got anything to do with the legal cases also around this?
Not at all, because even though there are currently cases seen at the Supreme Court specifically subsisting against, and that is the NDC challenging the High Court's order to compel the EC to recollate the results. That meant that the process was not going to go on. The Electoral Commission did issue a statement insisting that until they receive firm assurances from the Ghana police that they will provide adequate protection, just as the High Court had directed, they were not going to continue that process.
I mean, has this really got anything to do with the legal cases also around this?
Not at all, because even though there are currently cases seen at the Supreme Court specifically subsisting against, and that is the NDC challenging the High Court's order to compel the EC to recollate the results in Ablekuma North, the Supreme Court is yet to decide that matter, and is also yet to actually pass any injunctive relief on that matter. So, although those matters are still pending, the Electoral Commission believe that they've been given the go-ahead by the High Court to actually go ahead. And we have been digging at the Electoral Commission to try and get some understanding. 143 days, what exactly are you doing? The Electoral Commission says its position has not changed. One, it is completely against any suggestion to rerun the election in that one particular polling station. Then also, it is awaiting confirmation from the Ghana Police Service that it will provide adequate security. Once that happens, they will conduct the collation exercise of that one outstanding polling station and declare the winner of that.
Good, thank you very much. Now, residents of Ablekuma North constituency, though, say they are frustrated by the lack of action on the part of the Electoral Commission to conclude the collation.
I feel bad, though. Yeah, because when we have an
for the MPP and Dr. Tanko Rashid Computers is Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC. Both gentlemen join me on the line right now. Evans Nemako. So this subject has now become protracted, but at the heart of it are residents there. From the MPP's point of view, do you have clarity on how this impasse can be resolved?
Well, Evans, good evening. Thank you for having me. I think for us as New Patriotic Party, the High Court of Accra on the 4th of January 2025 gave a ruling to the EC and the National Election Security Task Force that the EC should go ahead and complete collation for Ablekuma North with the outstanding 64 polling stations. And that has been done with the exception of 3 polling stations. Anytime the EC had invited political parties, i.e. MPC and the NDC, the NDC has deliberately, and the EC has been unable to do or complete the collation that they have to do. So for us, the issues have been settled. There's a ruling. If they disagree, if anybody disagree with the ruling of the High Court, it's for them to pursue at that level.
I mean, Dr. Tanko Rashid, is the NDC ready to allow the final collation to proceed?
Please come again.
Is the NDC ready to allow the final collation?
It shouldn't lie in the map of the NDC.
No, I'm actually asking Dr. Tanko Rashid. I mean, you say they are the reason why this is delayed. I'm asking him if they want to step out of the way for the process to go ahead. Dr. Tanko Rashid?
Hello, Evans.
Yes.
Let me say good evening to you and your cherished listeners. And my friend Evans Nimako. Look, listen, please, let's face it. We were all at IPAC meeting when we all agreed that, look, your party, MPP, you don't have the pink sheet. You don't have the carbon copies. What you told us at that meeting was that you are having scanned copies. We don't agree to scan copies in declaring any resource in Ghana. Anybody can scan anything and say it's a scanned copy. In any case, when they even tried their scanned copy, the presiding officers came and denied them. The presiding officers were of the view that those scanned copies were fake. And so on what basis are we going to rely on your scanned copies to declare results for you?
Okay, so how will this be resolved then?
The only resolution to this is that we should go for a rerun for those areas.
Oh, a complete re-election?
Yes, 62 polling stations, rerunning 62 polling stations, is there a problem?
I mean, Evans Namako, do you accept that?
My brother, ask the Electoral Commission how they are going to complete the collation of those polling stations. It doesn't lie in the mouth of Rashid Tanko.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the EC on. He's proposing a solution. Do you agree?
That is not the way to go.
Okay.
The EC is in the position to collate all the polling station results and declare a winner.
Okay. Evans, thank you very much. Evans Namako, the Director of Elections. Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer, Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC. Franklin Kujo has an intimate knowledge of what it is like to not be represented in Parliament. In his case, in his somewhere in Seoul, that people there stayed without representation for 4 years. So, Franklin Kujo, listening to the Ablekuma North constituency scenario now, there's a proposal by the NDC that let's rerun all affected, polling stations. How should this be resolved?
Well, good evening to you, good self. I think, look, that election should be rerun. Whether 62 or whatever. I mean, that's 62 in addition to all the other areas of the constituency. Because it seems to me, I mean, the elections were negatively impacted. So they should rerun the entire election. That's what I'll suggest to them. And the constituency shouldn't wait that long at all. Otherwise, they'll experience what we experience.
Frankly, thank you very much. And that there's the president of Imaning Africa giving us his own thoughts on what is happening there in Ablekuma North. And if you live in that part of Greater Accra, send me a WhatsApp right after I've heard from my colleague there, James, with business. I will share it with the rest of the world. We're also building up to that big game between Arsenal and PSG. The commentary's live here on Joy 99.7 FM. But first, what's in business?
In business.
Of the Chief Justice's suspension. Just a short while ago, we had this hint dropped by the spokesperson for the Bar Association, Xavier Kuji.
That as far as the discretion of appointing the Chief Justice is concerned, the president ought to have done that under a published regulation as required by Article 296. Let us not forget that the Supreme Court is not bound by its decision. The fact that Joseph Fran's case said not in all cases that this must be done. Nobody is too sure whether the Supreme Court in the future can say that in the president exercising a discretion of this nature, i.e., suspending the Chief Justice, it shouldn't have done that under a published regulation.
Now, I want to find out from you, as a bar, would you be going to court to challenge this? Are we going to see action from you, or is all talk?
That's a possibility because once it's about the constitution or law, that's a possibility.
A possibility you'll be exploring how soon?
Because going forward, there must be clear guidelines as to how these things ought to be done. So that's a possibility to have the courts to interpret that for us.
I want to bring in the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Sremsai, joins us on the line right now. Justice, when we last spoke to you yesterday, you were looking forward to reading the full text of the resolution. You have it now. Do you have the clarity you were looking for as to the reason behind that resolution to ask the President to revoke the suspension?
Yeah, I have been able to read the communique, and the more I read it, the more I get convinced that the GBA has decided to abandon principles of law and rely on something else to form their opinion. And I think we first of all need to take the GBA's resolution in context. Evan, I can go to a meeting, organize persons of my kind who think like me, and we constitute majority, and say that we want to pass a resolution so that no man should be admitted into a university. If they think like me and we form majority of that meeting, chances are that we'll be able to come up with a resolution which says that the organization I represent says that no man should be admitted to a university. That is not different from what has happened at the GBA. I would like to limit myself to the legal analysis of what is at stake and avoid a political position that the GBA has put out. Now, we are dealing with a particular article of the Constitution which says that where a person is given a power to a discretion to exercise, the person should publish by way of either constitutional instrument or statutory instrument a regulation to regulate the exercise of that person. That is what the provision is. Now, a quick search through the Constitution, I found about 50 instances where various actors, apart from judges acting in their capacity as judges, are given power to the person to take one step of one. Another one, the president, they enter into international agreements. And I found as many of that with the president. When I go to Parliament, I found so many instances where Parliament is supposed to be given the discretion to do something.
And how does that relate to this instant matter? Because the bar says he acted unconstitutionally, considering the fact that the president, who is not a judge or a judicial officer, exercised his discretion to suspend the Chief Justice under the same article you're quoting, in the absence of a published constitutional instrument, statutory instrument, and regulations.
Evans, the point I'm making is simply this. The failure or inability or refusal to publish a regulation to guide how the person is exercised does not in any way disable the person from exercising the discretion. And that is the point I'm trying to make, that when I look at all these instances, no PI has been published in respect of all the things that I've mentioned. There are about 50 more that I could mention. Does that mean that the president cannot appoint a minister? Does that mean that the president cannot sign international agreement? Does that mean that the president cannot grant pardon? And so on and so forth. So there is really little law in what the GP is standing on to say that unless the CI is published, the president, may not suspend the Chief Justice under this circumstance. And secondly, Evan, so the second point is that the GBA's community is not, we are not saying that the GBA doesn't have the power to be political. The GBA is an association of lawyers. He has every power to be political. He has every power to pass any resolution he wants. He has any power to make any decision he wants. That we all agree and we respect because that is what the law says. The point, however, is that
the presidency at the Attorney General Department will consider the GBA view as one of the many views that we keep receiving on this particular issue.
I hear you say that you hear them but you ignore it.
No, I did not say we're going to say we'll consider, we'll add to all the other views that we receive daily on this matter. We will consider all of them and advise the government going forward. But the point that we're mentioning is that the failure or inability to publish a CI in respect of discretionary power does not disable the person from exercising that power at all.
And very quickly, the spokesperson for the GBA had just hinted tonight that they may drag the president to court on this matter and seek constitutional interpretation of the Supreme Court. You're ready to face them in court?
So, we are convinced that our position is the right one. We don't know whether the GBA will gather the confidence and courage to proceed to court on something like this. I understand that decision to be political, and I don't think that there's any serious belief in anybody that the court will grant such a relief.
Dr. Justice Semsai, thank you very much. He's the Deputy Attorney General speaking to us about.
And then I will share. Subscribe my YouTube channel, like and share, never or comment. So I show my baby brain. I can't my tea for. And I should phone you. I'm sure on your case. Stay tuned, stay connected. Daily updates soon. I share a rabra obena or you'll be a ban or motomani. That's the honor the people's choice because we feel my massive motomano. A Bradwin in Tiasia, so into the electoral commission. As I be a rerun say, some of them were under duress. That's why they declare for NDC candidate. God bless you, stay tuned.